Hey guys, it's Colors Studios here, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of the coasters at Six Flags Great Adventure as of 2025 from worst to best. Obviously, this list has changed a little bit since last year because we lost 2 coasters but gained 1, and I jumbled some things around a little bit, so I figured I'd make a fresh list for the year, starting off at number 13, which of course is Little Devil Coaster. It's the park's kitty coaster, and I mean, there's not really anything else to say about it. It's your standard Zamperla kitty coaster. I do love the theme. I still really appreciate that they decided to theme it to Little Devil, which was really, really cool that they did because we actually suggested that to them. So it was really cool to kind of see that happen, but otherwise it's just a kitty coaster. At number 12, we have Harley Quinn Crazy Train, which is one of the best family coasters out there. It's nothing too special, but I love seeing these rides pop up across other parks because it really is just a fun ride. They did shorten the train slightly on this one by 2 cars, but you really don't notice it because it feels exactly the same. There's not really much of a difference. It's still a really fun ride, especially if you manage to get in the back row, because it's always so strange to see how the train navigates through that course since it is just so long. At number 11, we have Skull Mountain, which is one of the park's indoor family coasters. And this one I used to like a lot more, but as time has gone on, the effects have definitely waned quite a bit. There's some light peeking through inside the mountain, and quite honestly, it just doesn't do the same as what it once did. You can see all of the old effects sitting there, but none of them work anymore, and I really hope that in time, either the ride gets a major refurbishment or we just see some of the effects start to come back on, because I think that would definitely go a long way in improving the ride experience. At number 10, we have Dark Knight, which is the park's other indoor family coaster, and I like this one a little bit better, partially because I am biased since The Dark Knight is one of my favorite movies of all time, but also because I think this ride is just a little better maintained in terms of the theming. I think a lot of the thematic elements work so much better in this ride than they do at Skull Mountain, partially because of the fact that this ride's a lot newer, but even then, a lot of the lighting effects, sound effects, they still work. Not all of them, but a good portion of them on Dark Knight. Plus, it's a nice, fun wild mouse, so who doesn't love a nice, smooth wild mouse, because that's exactly what this is. At number 9, we have Superman Ultimate Flight. If you guys know me, you know I have quite the disdain for this ride. I've never liked it very much, and I continue to not like it, especially because they got rid of the coaster that was so much better right next door, being Green Lantern. It kills me to know that. But Superman, I mean, I love the pretzel loop. That I definitely will give it. The pretzel loop is great, one of the best elements in the park. And then after that, the ride just does absolutely nothing for me. It just meanders around until you have that fun inline twist at the end. But otherwise, Superman is definitely not a ride I'm a big fan of at all. Moving on to number 8, we have the Joker, which is the park's 4D free spin. And this ride, like the other ones, is kind of random how it's going to be. Sometimes I'll rank it higher, sometimes I'll rank it lower. It all depends on the cycle you get. Usually I tend to get a pretty good cycle in this one where you either get a good amount of flips or you wind up getting stuck upside down. But when you get a cycle on this ride where it's just a glorified rocking chair, that's when it kind of sucks. But when you get a really nice intense ride where it's really flipping good, this ride can kind of knock your socks off. It can be one of the most intense coasters in the park, if not the most intense, just when you catch it right. But it doesn't always happen because it is completely random based off the weight distribution. At number 7, we have Medusa, which is the park's B&M floorless coaster. Been around for 26 years now, and it is still going strong. Definitely isn't the most creative with its layout or anything, but it was the first floorless coaster, so you have to give it that. It is your very standard run-of-the-mill coaster with, just inversions, nothing too special, but there is something about that ride that just has that classic charm of old B&M that B&M doesn't really do anymore. And it still runs good. I will say the mid-course brake run slows it down way too much. I kind of wish they would just let it rip through, but I'd imagine they probably brake it pretty heavily just to maintain the track and make it so that there's not as much wear and tear being put on that portion of the ride. But otherwise, it's a fun ride, still runs fairly smooth, and I just wish there was more in that area of the park because it does feel very secluded from the rest of the attractions. At number 6, we have Runaway Mine Train, one of my personal favorites, and it might sound a little crazy ranking this so high, but if you get a ride on this in row 2, you will definitely understand why it deserves to be ranked so high. This is easily my favorite mine train coaster out there, or at least one of my favorites. It's so much more aggressive than it has any right to be, and I love the fact that it's still there because it is the oldest coaster in the park by a long shot. It was the first coaster at the park, and I really do hope that we continue to see this ride stick around for years and years to come. It has, quite frankly, one of the best airtime moments in the park too, that being that airtime hill over the lake. Absolutely incredible ride, love it so much, and it's great for not only thrill seekers like us, but also young kids who are just starting to get into coasters. At number 5, we have Batman the Ride, which is a pretty tried and true cloned model across many of the Six Flags parks. And Great Adventures, I'd say, is about middle of the pack out of all the Batman clones I've been on, because I do believe I've been on every single one in the US, and this one's good. It runs very fast usually, it's fairly smooth, not glass smooth, but for a ride as old as it is, you can't really expect it to be glass smooth, and it's definitely still running fairly good. One thing I do hope we see in the near future is thematic upgrades to the ride's queue. We've seen that at some of the other Six Flags parks, Batman the Rides, and I'm hoping that maybe this one will be next. But either way, it's still a nice classic ride, has some great capacity, and definitely a crowd pleaser. Moving on to number 4, we have the newest coaster at the park, Flash Vertical Velocity. This ride is so much fun. That's really the best way to describe it. It has so many different elements and really does fill a void in the park that we didn't even realize it had. It acts as both a chiller replacement, a lightning loops replacement, and almost a rolling thunder replacement, because it's not really a family coaster, but it's definitely a good step-up coaster to get people ready for the more aggressive rides that you'll see later on in this list. But it has excellent hang time, especially in that first stall. It's got good airtime moments, it's got some nice weightlessness through that 0G roll, and then you get to do it all backwards. It's the only coaster at the park that goes backwards, so it definitely fills a lot. I do wish that it had a turntable and a second train. I think if it did have that turntable and second train, it would genuinely be the perfect fit for this park. But because its capacity is so low, I can't quite say it's the perfect fit, but because we have it, it is still a great ride nonetheless. Moving on to number 3, we have Nitro, the park's B&M hypercoaster. Definitely the most popular coaster at the park, and it's a truly great ride. I've had the pleasure of riding all the B&M hypers in the United States, and this one is definitely in the upper tier, not quite one of the best ones, but it is a really solid one. The Helix is definitely the standout moment of the ride for me. It's almost always going to be a gray out moment, and then if you catch that mid-course brake run where the trims aren't hitting too hard, the finale is going to be packed with great ejector airtime. But even the first half is great. Lots of great floater moments. You're going out by the lake. So many nice views, and it's just overall a very nice, pleasant ride. At number 2, we have Jersey Devil, which is the park's RMC Raptor. This ride, I kind of go back and forth on a lot with this in Nitro, but I do have it over Nitro because when this ride is running at full speed, it is so good. It has such great airtime. The hang time is awesome. The second half, after the mid-course, I'm not going to lie, it does kind of suck compared to the rest of the layout, but excusing that, it is a really fun ride. The one knock I really do have to give it, though, is the restraints. They are so uncomfortable. It's not even the restraint part of it, it's more so the way your legs have to fit into the train. It is not a very pleasant experience at all, and I tend to come off of it with cramps, but if you can get past that, it is a really great ride. But nothing holds a candle to number 1, which obviously is El Toro, the park's Intamin prefabricated wooden coaster. This ride has some of the best airtime in the world. It's not even that rough, despite what a lot of people like to say, and it's getting work over the off-season to make it even smoother. And quite frankly, there's no coaster that even comes close to how good El Toro is at this park. But let me know down in the comments if you agree with my rankings, what you'd switch out, what you'd modify. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.